mid 80s, early 90s is when we got this thing called the Organization of Teratology Information Services started. So since the beginning. I was working in those days with a guy named Buzz Chernoff, who was a animal teratologist, phenomenal guy. He and I were talking one day, and we said to each other, this is really strange, but we've got an experiment in human teratology going on in every day we work together. We were seeing kids who were exposed to different drugs during their pregnancy, and we realized that we would get a call from a woman who would say, I've been taking this drug for the last 4 or 5 years, and suddenly I realized I was pregnant. I'm 6 weeks pregnant, and I've been taking this drug for the last 6 weeks, and I'm frantic. What's it going to do to my baby? And we would say, well, I don't know, but let me go to the library. So and call you back. So I would, Buzz and I would put the phone down, race to the library, try to find out everything we possibly could about the effect of that drug on the developing fetus. We'd find out all kinds of information about the effect of that drug on rats and rabbits and mice, but nothing about humans. And we'd come back and tell her about the effect of the drug on a rabbit, and she'd say, yeah, that's fine, but what about me? And we'd say we'd have no idea. And she said, what are you talking about? This drug has been on the market for 10 years, and you know nothing about its effect on the baby. And we suddenly realized that if we could get 100 women who contacted us, all of whom were exposed to the same drug, and then we followed those children, we examined those kids, and we got 100 kids, all of whom had been exposed to the same drug, then we would really know something about the effect of that drug in human pregnancy. So that's how we got started with this program. We called it initially the San Diego Teratogen Information Service. And actually, we called it the San Diego Teratogen Information Registry. And then it rapidly changed names. And finally, we got the name teratogen out of it and called it Mother to Baby. Well, when I was a fellow with David Smith in Seattle, we saw these kids with the fetal alcohol syndrome. And that clearly was the thing that got me focused and interested in teratology. So that was the thing that got me started. And I also have been, over the years, very involved with genetic disorders. And I realized soon that abnormalities that are associated with prenatal exposure to a drug can be prevented. And a genetic disorder cannot be prevented. And so that intrigued me. And I got very involved and interested in teratology based upon that. And as I mentioned, Buzz and I started this Teratogen Information Service. And it just really has taken off. And as you probably know, the Teratogen Information Services that really have been modeled after our program have sprung up all over the United States, and they're in Europe, and they're in Asia, and they're in South America, and really all over the world now. Actually, I will tell you that Tina Chambers said to me about 10 years ago, listen, old man, she said, you got to focus on one thing. You're involved in all these things, and you've got to focus on one thing and spend all your time working on it. And so, what do you want to do? So I decided I would go back to my basic thing, and I would go back and spend my time working on the fetal alcohol syndrome, and basically that's the primary thing that I work on now, and that's what I feel best about. Well, I think that I think it's an amazing organization because it is really the people that work for this organization uh, are really a group of people, mainly women, but some men as well, who are totally committed to this field and just totally committed to helping women who are anticipating their pregnancy or who are pregnant who find out they're pregnant and they're on some drugs, sometimes drugs that they have to take because they've got chronic kidney disease or something such as that, and they obviously are frantic. So the opportunity to deal with that and deal with women who are working with these individuals and who call frantically about a problem they have, and they do it. They don't make a lot of money, our counselors. They don't make much money at all. And they do it because they love it. Actually, one of our counselors is just retiring, and we're having a retirement thing. We had last night a retirement party for her, Sonia Alvarado, and she just is a phenomenal person who cares incredibly about women during their pregnancy and helping women during their pregnancy, and that's just been they're a great group. There's no question about it. Well, I think that I would hook myself up with the California Teratology Information Service, and if I lived in Miami, Florida, or Dallas, Texas, or whatever, I would call up our service here and see if they could spend some time coming out here and spending some time with our counselors and listening to them talk to pregnant women and listening to them talk to women who are anticipating pregnancy and getting a feel for what this work is all about and how you can help people. And I mean, it's just a phenomenal group of people to work with. And that's how I would advise somebody to get involved in it. Well, I'm clearly going to continue to work on fetal alcohol syndrome as long as I'm vertical. Well, I would say that one of the issues that is sort of a personal issue for me um, is the death penalty. And I am very much against the death penalty. So I'll start off admitting that. And I have been involved now in 32 individuals in the United States on death row who whose mother drank alcohol during her pregnancy, and so I've been very focused on trying to going and seeing those individuals. And I've done this with Tina Chambers. The two of us have gone together, visiting people on death row and who have been exposed to alcohol to see if we can create a situation where alcohol, in their case, is a mitigating factor such that they are taken off death row. Obviously not allowed to go back into the community, but at least to avoid being executed. So that's something that I'm very involved in right now. And I'm involved in a project right now with the OICR, which is an agency of the state, of the state of California's government, Office of Youth and Community Restoration, which is focused right now on developing a new innovative program to diagnose this disorder. And one of the major issues as far as this disorder is concerned in 2024, 2025 is the lack of people who know how to diagnose this disorder. And the concept of this program is to develop a new innovative way to diagnose this disorder that does not require somebody with an MD or a DO or a person who's a neuropsychologist with a PhD. So to train people who are, for example, social workers, to make a diagnosis of this disorder, to create a situation whereby more and more people can be diagnosed with this condition. At the present time, there's only a very, very, very small number of people that have this disorder who actually end up getting diagnosed with the disorder, and many of them are even being misdiagnosed with this disorder. That's something that I'm very focused on right now, developing new programs to be able to create a situation where we can diagnose more individuals with this disorder so that they can get into programs that help them.